This is a B minor chord guitar lesson for beginners. B minor requires you to barre. Your finger needs to be straight to accomplish this. And it is not, I would not recommend it if you're absolutely beginning guitar from beginning. I would not recommend playing this right now. You can practice the exercises, but be okay with not sounding all the notes. You have to be okay with that right now. If you're a farther along beginner, like a beginner intermediate or beginner advanced, then this is something you should try and put into your regular daily practice. Okay, so let's take a look on how to do the B minor chord. Okay, so the first thing is, as you can see here, the sixth string we don't play. And then what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and place our first finger vertically along on the second fret. Okay, and then we'll try and get our first finger right next to the metal fret wire here. And then we'll have our third finger on the fourth string and fourth finger on the third string. And you can see that I try to kind of stagger them a little bit to be next to the fret wire. Of course, the third finger is going to have to be kind of in the middle of the fret, and the fourth finger gets to be next to the fret wire there. So let's take a look how to do this on the guitar. Alright, so whenever you're doing a barre chord, you're essentially trying to be like a clamp. But you're trying not to clamp with the thumb. Okay, so the first finger has to be very straight, very straight. Okay, and we're gonna try and use the bony part of the finger here, not the fleshy part, just on the side here. So slight rotation. So when you place your finger, you're going to try and, so this is flesh, this is the bony side. So I'm going to try and make it all the way next to the fret wire here. Okay. Now for the B minor itself, we start on the fifth string. So we don't need to cover the sixth string. It's just going from the fifth string. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, I'm going to try and play that note here. This is the B on the fifth string. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to get our third finger on the fourth fret and our fourth finger right underneath on the fourth fret as well on the third string, and second finger on the second string of the third fret. Something like that. So no pressure yet. So the thumb, relax the thumb in the back, and try to have a nice angle on your guitar so you don't end up going like this. There we go, something like that. And we're trying to keep this as straight as possible. It's a little bit hard to do when you have all of the other fingers in there. I'll show you a little exercise you can do towards the end of the video where you just kind of exercise the first finger and get it used to being flat. Okay, so let's try that again. First finger, 3, 4, 2. A little bit of a different angle here. First finger, a little bit on the side, 3, 4, and then 2. And you're trying to be on the tips as much as possible for the ones that are not part of the body here. So second finger, third, and fourth. All right, so let's try and strum that. We're just gonna go really slowly. There you go. I'm going to try and rotate that. That first string wasn't ringing for me. So I'm going to rotate this a little bit outwards more. Oops. Of course, the type of strings you're using matters, right? The action of the guitar matters. So if you have hard strings, you're going to have to use a lot more pressure if you compared to if you had like softer strings go. I have a little bit of an angle on the second finger here as I'm trying to get close to the fret wire and have a little bit of a rotation outwards with the first finger. Good. So each time you play, just try to relax your fingers. 1, 3, 4, and then 2. And then relax. And then try it again. 1, 3, 4, and 2. All right, so let's take a look on how to actually practice your barre. So I'm just going to talk about the first finger. So our goal when we're practicing this is to make it as flat as possible. So we'll try and imitate the like a B minor or any of the ones on the 5th string. And I'll try to imitate all the ones that are on the 6th string, like F major and all the other ones that use the 6th string. So as you can see, I moved my practice up on the 7th fret. So I'm going to try and do this on the 7th fret. The reason for the 7th fret, it's much easier to produce the sounds in the middle of the guitar here than it is towards the nut here, especially if you have harder strings. We're going to try and do the 7th fret here. Okay, so when you play, you can hear some of them are ringing and some of them are not ringing. So I have a problem here on the 3rd string, 2nd string, and that one's pretty good. Okay, so that would be the first problem. This is right on the fleshy part of the finger. Okay, so let's do that same position, the same way, without changing anything, but we're going to try and angle it a little bit this way. So we're going to try and turn it a little bit and see if you can access this part of the finger a little bit more. So let's try that. A little bit better. Okay. Now we're going to talk about these little crevices on the fingers. So there's a whole bunch of crevices here. So I felt some of them are in between the 2nd and 3rd string. So I'm going to try and adjust that just a little bit. Remember that it's just a string width, which is about a millimeter, maybe even less than that. So I'm just going to position it higher. And there we go, we got the clear tone. Okay, so it applies, the same thing applies when you're playing on the 5th string. You want to make sure that you're not on the crevices of the fingers when you're touching the strings. Okay, so that's what I would practice, is just doing this here if I was just beginning guitar. And then trying to get the clear tones. Sometimes we'll need an angle like this, but not right now. If you want to, you can have a slight angle when you're doing your shapes. So that's it for this B minor chord. Check out this next lesson where I'm going to explore the G and the B minor transitions.